All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Green White Checker TV. We are on race number 2 of 12 here with the Gen 4 Superspeedway Cup Series tonight at iRacing Superspeedway. It will be a 75 lap race here tonight. One fast pair, 3 green white checkered attempts should we need it. And as always, going to be a lot of fun this evening. And again, every so often you'll start to see new logos, new icons over the course of the season. We've had some really generous donations, and this most recent generation, they asked if we could kind of bring some attention to the National Kidney Foundation, as you saw on the intro screen. If not, you'll see it a little later on. That's because we're trying to help a very great friend and kind of partner, if you will, of the channel, of the league, trying to help their son find a kidney. So you can see the link there on the info of the YouTube page below. They're trying to help their son Dixon find a kidney, and so there's lots of ways that you can help. So please check it out, and yeah, it'd be really appreciated. So that said, I hope you all are having a wonderful evening. I hope I had a wonderful weekend. And yeah, it's going to be exciting here tonight. New car track for us to kind of bounce between. We saw Daytona last week. Now we're here at iRacing Superspeedway. I was thinking about 210 miles an hour in practice. So it's going to be a lot of fun to see what these cars have in store for us this evening. Other than that, I say pretty much the same stuff as always. Fuel mileage, I was hearing right on that 25 lap range. So these guys might be having to play a little bit of fuel mileage here initially. However, I think if and when there's a yellow, depending on that timing, it could completely change the complexion of the race and how they want to run this thing out. So it'll be interesting to see. Can tell you, of course, last week, Adam Kilday with the race win over Ryan Decker and Vicente Guerrero. Again, 1/1000th of a second between Ryan and Adam. However, that win does give Adam the points lead by 5 over Ryan. Vince is 6 out. And again, it'll be an 8-race regular season followed by a 4-race playoff with all 4 tracks involved in those playoffs. So, yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Again, still very early on, but again, we're going to blink and it's going to be time for it to happen. So, right now, it looks like we have just under 20 cars, unfortunately. Definitely missing a few from last week. Hate to see that they're not here. Hope everybody's doing well, though. And yeah, like I said, the cars we have on track, though, are definitely going to be putting on a lot of fun here for us tonight. And in a moment, my partner in crime, Matt Wagner, he's going to be popping in, and we're going to be talking about the fun that these guys have for us this evening. Right now, I am showing 13 drivers have made a lap. Waiting to see if we're going to get any more here added to the list right now. The 14th driver just did put down a lap. Words are hard, which leaves 4 drivers potentially maybe opting not to qualify. We'll have to wait and see on that. But yeah, it's gonna be fun to see what we have in store and what is going to be the strategy. And we'll pull up that timing and scoring over on the top so you can see. As right now it's showing Nick Wing as the current pole sitter over Jeremy Osborne, but again, there's still some cars on track. We might see that change over the next little bit, but not a lot of time left in practice, or sorry, in qualifying. So this might be our pole, our top 2 running order there. And with that, looks like qualifying has just completed. So we're going to wait everything to switch over to our starting grid. As it does that, we will pull up that starting grid. And on pole position, it is going to be Nick Wing on the pole. Next to him is Jeremy Osborne. And what a lap by Nick Wing. 55.139, almost 0.2 of a second quicker than Jeremy Osborne. That is not something you see very often in super speedways. And even Jeremy Osborne was over 1/10 quicker than Jack Wall. So those two definitely have found something on the qualifying side of things. So well done to them. Jimmy Reynolds, Ryan Decker are top 5. Then you got Kevin Freeze, Dean Wilkinson, Bud Steele, Rick Sanchez, Gabe Butler, top 10. Eric Laurie, Andrew Schroeder there, 11th and 12th. Continuing on down, you've got Zach Perry, Jason Bogart, Vicente Guerrero, Jim Brooks, Jacob Lee, and Adam Kilday. As you can see, those last 4 drivers opting not to put down a qualifying lap. And I don't know if you're back or not yet, but you've got some requests to accept an invite over there. All right, so now we're just waiting for that field to start underway here. They're going to start to roll off in the grid here in just about 40 more seconds. One driver left to grid, and then they'll roll off this very, very banked front stretch here, roll onto this very banked front stretch, I should say. And again, to me, this is definitely one of the more difficult tracks to get on and off of pit road at. And we've also talked about before where, to me, this track just feels like a Dover on steroids. You kind of drop into the turns, you jump out of the turns, but you're doing it at about 200, 210 mile an hour. It's very, very difficult feeling, and you just, when you get into the turns, you just feel the force feedback just grab you. And yeah, it's a challenge for sure. So it's gonna be fun to see what these drivers have over the course of the 75 laps with our 18 drivers here tonight. This will be a great view of our drivers as they leave pit road. Again, the 2841, our front row. Got Paige rooting on Zach and Jason. Zach in the 76 car, Jason in the 017 car, and actually they start 13th, 14th, so they will be right next to each other on the grid. As you can see, the field all rolling off out of pit road, and that will hand it over to our front row as we get this warm-up lap completed. And also might see some aggressive fuel saving, and talked about 25 laps on fuel. They're going to try to save every drop here even from right now to try to see if they can make sure they can make it on a two-stop strategy. But we'll see again. If a caution win, if and when it comes out, the timing will play a big, big role. Good evening, Belva. Good evening, Julie. Glad to see you all here. Always, of course, love to see you rooting on your drivers. And yes, I mean, obviously, it's a lot of fun to see. And like I said, we'll definitely be giving them some extra love over the course of this race. So I say, fingers crossed, we're not going to have any commentators' curses. I've had a bad job doing that one lately. But yeah, no, it means a lot to have you all here watching and supporting. And Matt, I hear you popping back in there.
Yeah, it's me.
You've got an Ed DeBoer there requesting an invite request.
Oh, do I now?
You do.
Ed DeBoer. Really? I'm gonna have to check that out.
You have to check the old YouTube chat and look for an invite request.
How you doing, Ed? It's doing pretty good. Well, over here, but my driver didn't do so hot in the Cup race, and we'll talk about that later. We're going green.
As a green flag is down, and we are away. A great start for Nick Wing. He's actually going to jump to the top here, maybe try to grab a little bit of draft. And Matt, we didn't talk about it as of yet, but again, this is a track here where if you're running the inside line, you got to make sure you give that guy behind you a little bit of almost a viewing angle, if you will, into the entries, I should say, of the turns, because it's kind of a blind entry if you're tucked right on the back of it. So in this case right now would be Jack Walls. As you see, looking to the outside, Jimmy Reynolds, he's peeking to the third lane, and Jeremy Osborne, this poor guy's like, what do I have to do to get some love here? These guys are just completely splitting them, but it's going to be Nick Wing still leading here into one. Oh man, you can see on that entry, those cars just jump to the top again with that banking transition, Matt. As soon as you drop in, then you hit the banking. I mean, it just feels like it's just throwing your car back up the track. So right now, though, we're on board with Nick Wing, who will lead lap number 1. And again, though, I mean, I got to say, Jeremy Osborne, for not having any drafting help, he's holding the middle pretty well.
Well, I took a few laps in practice. This car is not that bad on this racetrack. I really would like to see maybe a little bit more pushing, more shoving, a little bit less give and take here in these cars, because if you were to push in these cars, it's a blast.
Now, these cars have been a lot of fun, and I think these are probably one of the more popular super speedway cars now that, like I said, now that you actually can push and draft. We've seen before where as soon as you got the bumper to the rear bumper, it just lifted the car up. So they've made some changes in iRacing that have really allowed these things to get a lot racier. But right now, though, we talked about I'm sorry, losing names here. Jeremy Osborne kind of getting shuffled out. He's got to the inside line. Now it's the 5 of Rick Sanchez. He doesn't have a home down to the middle or bottom, so he's having to run the third lane solo. But right now I'm seeing kind of a boot knocker train here, or affiliate, if you will. on that outside line. You've got Jimmy Reynolds leading it, Kevin Freeze right there, Gabe Butler, Eric Laurie, all nose to tail here on that second lane. I was saying, I don't know. I don't think it's any secret who your favorite driver is, Matt, but I feel like you're going to be a Ryan Decker fan in this race because that paint scheme, it's got some of your driver's vibes and colors to me on it.
Let me take a look. Oh, really?
Oh, big move by Kevin there. He's going to drop to the bottom. Oh, just in front of Nick Wing. I think Nick had to drift up a little bit there. Maybe didn't expect it, but big move by Kevin to get to the inside. Also, again, potentially, Matt, we don't know how temperatures are on these cars with the big pushes, with the big drafts. So at some point, there might have to, that might be Kevin said, hey, I'm getting hot. I got to cut low. And that's going to see Gabe now taking over that drafting duties. But I'm going to show what we're talking about, though, for those guys that maybe can't see as well. We're going to focus on Nick Wing here as long as he stays on that second car inside lane. So you can show kind of just how blind of an entry you really have in when you're in that second car line. So let's hop on board here and let's see what little bit Nick Wing can see, which, again, you got to hope that that car in front of you has a sponsor you like. So right now, all he can think about is lows.
Now that's Ricky Rudd in the 28. I think that's Ricky Rudd.
Yeah, I think that's a Rudd one. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, look at that, though. All three of them, they were able to get to the bottom. They cleared. They're going to drop down low. That's going to now open up Bud Steele for the outside lane. He's getting a great push from Jeremy Osborne. Again, Jeremy kind of got dropped to the middle there, and so now he's able to make some magic happen on the outside lane, helping Bud try to get to the front. Dean Wilkinson, oh, you see right there, the 41 hit the entry, and that car just really stepped out on him. And that's the danger of this track is if you miss your line or just kind of force feedback grabs you and you're not ready for it, it will pull you up the track. But Dean Wilkinson, he's thinking third lane on his own here in that 55 car. Dean's usually one of those guys that just cruises early on, but he's thinking about moving early here, Matt.
Well, as you know, Dean likes doing Dean things. Like he'll go up there and lead a lap and then drop to the bottom. He want to make sure he gets that extra bonus points because, as we know in the past, you know, the championship last season came down to bare minimum points, so every point matters just to try and get to the playoff.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. Every point's going to be critical. We're going to do some shameless plugs here because, Matt, we had some drivers rooting on Zach Perry in that 76. He's right now rocking in the 12th spot, just one spot gain, but again, I think he's in cruise control. And I'm not even going to try to list off all the sponsors he has on that number 76 car because there are a lot of them. So I can definitely see Rogue as one of the main ones, but if you look in the side on the door of that car, there's a whole bunch of other ones. So he's got all the sponsorships on the side of that one. Right behind him, we just talked about as well, Jason Bogart there in the Flex Seal Chevrolet. So he's right now also one spot up in the 13th spot. So glad to see them here. Again, love to see the fans here as well, rooting them on. And then, of course, we got to go to that 5 of Rick Sanchez. Belva's here. She's rooting him on. And right now he is holding, oops, I want to touch the apron there. Is everybody good? Looks like everybody was able to recover, but that's that entry concern, though, Matt, that we were just talking about there. I think one car maybe caught the apron and entry, washed way up, and based on the little bit of gap I see, it may have been Jeremy Osborne that maybe had that little hiccup entering 3, but they're not too far away to be able to pull back up into that draft.
Oh, no. So you got to be very careful not to, turn is pretty too hard here because, as we've seen here in the past, drivers touching that apron on the racetrack or this 3-mile racetrack, how, excuse me, how high the banking is because they'll wash you straight up the track. You touch that apron and this car is going to be toast and you're going to take out whoever, and just you have to be very careful.
Yeah, and that's the big concern is if you've got a car to go outside, you're going to potentially be in for a bad time. But right now, though, again, I think the hardest working 2 cars right now are right there on the outside line, Bud Steele, Dean Wilkinson. I believe Bud is just clear, but I don't think enough to drop to the bottom. No, Jimmy Reynolds and Serge back ahead entering 1. But they can show that 2-lane will work. However, once again, though, I still got to think about that fuel mileage to me, Matt, is where, to me, if they can get to 26, I think that's the magic number to make sure you can two-stop this race. So I think we're seeing some of these guys that have just been kind of cruise control on the inside lane. I think they're trying to work that fuel number. And so that's what I'm kind of expecting to see. Although, as soon as we talked about them, they've kind of jumped to the top. They're bringing some friends along. Oh, caution's out. And it's
Oh
towards the
boy,
back.
that's be further back.
Yeah, it is. Jim Brooks and Jack Wall's involved.
Really,
Vicente
teammates.
Guerrero, okay. So we'll go back and see if something
boy.
happened ahead of them or not. So we're going to jump back here and take one more look. And I'm wondering if this is maybe a checkup situation here. So we'll focus on Jack, who's just ahead of Jim. And we'll see maybe someone catches the apron on the entry potentially here.
Oh, as we talked about. Yep, you nailed it.
Yeah, Jim caught the apron there. He just kind of went in blind, caught the corner of Jack Walls. And yeah, unfortunately, both those cars go around. And Vicente also, the 14, he gets a piece of that as well. So fortunately, a couple of cars involved in that one. And so we'll do this one more time. I know he's going to be mad at me, but I'm going to go back and take one closer look at this, because I think what we're going to see if we hop on here with the 51, again, we talked about how little you can see here. And so we'll hop on this roll bar and you'll see basically he comes, you can see he's already turning in for the turn, but it's too soon. He catches the apron there. And I think also probably a little bit of a checkup as well, Matt, like we had mentioned. And yeah, that's just unfortunately going to send those two around. So, and then you see Vince there tries to get out of the way, but I think maybe just caught a little bit of left front damage there. So yeah, so that's going to bring out our first yellow of the evening. And I'm going to take a closer look. You saw Jack catch the wall a fair bit, but I thought I saw some pretty significant nose damage to the 51. But so we'll have to see how that looks, and maybe they can just do a fast or maybe they can get it repaired manually, save the fast repair. But this does do, Matt, is it takes the fuel mileage out of the question here. So now at this point, at this point in the race, if it goes green, this will be no dramas, a two-stop race to the end.
Yep. I took out Kevin Priest's favorite thing to do.
He does love some fuel mileage.
I hate fuel mileage races. So I'll be the first to tell you. It's to me. I know it's a strategy thing. I really do. But I like racing hard. I really do. But at the same time, being really conservative on the racetrack, it just, I don't know. To me, it sounds kind of boring to me if I'm a driver.
Yeah, no, it's not the most fun if you have to do it from turn one, lap one, especially at a race situation like this. I am okay with it, like in, let's say, endurance racing or things of that nature. But yeah, the whole point of this type of stuff to me is to be able to just kind of race it out. The only time I have no issues with it is more of when it just kind of happens naturally, where it's like, okay, the caution came out at this point, so then you got to strategize it. In this one, that's just the way it wound up. And I can tell you right now, what's going to happen is the guys that build build their setups I shouldn't say setups. I think this is a stock setup, but the ones who put the races together, set up the race length and the fuels and all that, there's probably going to be an adjustment for the next race here, where they'll probably either add a little bit of fuel or take a little bit of fuel away to make sure that there's no question how much they can do. So we'll have to keep an eye and see if that's the case for the next race here, but we got plenty of racing before then. Got to give a shout out to Frank Ranger, one of those squirrels. Unfortunately, still not able to race as he still does not have internet. Does have power back as of a few days ago, so really glad to hear that, Frank. But definitely miss seeing you on track. But just glad you're doing okay, and I say we'll be here for you once you're back, man. So definitely looking forward to seeing you back on track. But yeah, just glad you're doing well. We did have a couple lengthy pit stops. We obviously mentioned Jack Walls. He's about 1:26. Ooh, that car still looks pretty rough on the front end there. And then Jim Brooks had a pretty quick pit stop. So yeah, that's right. That's looking fast repair all over it to me for the 51. So he's gonna have to really mind his P's and Q's. I also saw Adam Kilday. He had a really long pit stop too, but car looks fine. So I'm leaning towards this just may have been a situation where he opted to just go ahead and just sit in pit road a little longer for something like that. So the one I'm going to watch though is Jack here. That nose is really center punched, Matt. And I don't know. He's not going to come back in. So I'm a little nervous for Jack here. He's going to have to stay really locked onto the back of somebody in front of him.
It looks like your pops did take that faster.
Yeah, no, he definitely did. I wasn't sure how bad his damage was, but it's one of those things too where I think you can look and see and kind of once you're, I don't know if he has to decide right away as long as there's no required damage, but at the same time too, if like he had the meatball flag is what we call it in iRacing, where it's basically that black flag with like an orange ball in the middle. So thus we call it the meatball flag. At that point, you pretty much want to use the fast pair because you don't know how long that required damage is going to be. So we'll see. Hopefully Jack's able to hang on to the field. I'm a little nervous because he's still catching the field. He's only in turns 3 and 4 in the middle there now. So hopefully he can catch back up here before we go green, which is now. As we get back to green here, Jacob Lee field only. He leads the field back to turn 1. But Steele pushing Gabe Butler on the outside line. The 6 and the 88 working together. And yeah, you look in the background, you don't see a Jack Walls, Matt. Unfortunately, he will miss the draft, and that's even. And then with his damage, he's unfortunately going to need another yellow there, and that's that risk reward of staying out as late as you can to try to fix as much damage as you can.
Yeah, once you commit to the first time around, you try to get your repair. You probably will have to wait to the very last minute, but there's a danger and risk of going back in and try to fix it again. That's probably not going to happen. And
just saw Jimmy Reynolds catch the apron just a teeny bit on entry. Looks like he's okay. I say now I'm looking. I say if you had a live spotter right now, they'd be having a fit right now, Matt, because look at the number 21. Look at the number 41. Very, very similar colors. So the schemes are a little different, of course, different manufacturers, but I mean, you've got that lime, kind of the lime green, the bright yellow, and they're right in nose to tail in front of each, and then now side to side of each other. But yeah, that one's definitely going to catch some people off. But got a little mini breakaway here with Vince, Rick, and Dean. So they've got just about 0.4 of a second on the field here down the back.
Well, it shouldn't be too.
It won't last long.
No, it won't. Before Gabe and those 2 green cards who look exactly the same will catch back up.
Yeah, Gabe had the 41 stay with him, Jeremy Osborne. Jacob decided I'm going to stay on the bottom lane here, but the momentum doing really, really well here with that outside lane. You see Gabe there to the outside of the 5, just about to get to the side of the 14. Also looks like bringing some friends now along. I see the 17, I see the 48, as well as the 071. They're trying to work around Andrew Schroeder. And again, I'll say you think you're safe in that middle lane, but these guys trying to sneak around to their outside. So right now it's they've been trying to work that third lane from time to time, but up front though, I think Gabe is still, he's still got his guys with him. He's got Bud now added to the mix as well. Let's see what the 17 and company do. Do they stay in that third lane, or do they drop to the middle and pick up Gabe?
I think they're going to stay in that third lane because the 84 of Andrew Schroeder is kind of spoiling the party of their little 3-person kind of breakaway there.
We got a chatter from the Great White North. Mr. Django, glad you are here, man. Always enjoy having you on in the chat or when I'm watching you play your games and vice versa. I hope you're doing well, man. And say I know a big adjustment for you with the move, but glad you guys got all there safe. And I said again, I mean, we've still been in the 105, 1 teens probably. We're in Phoenix where you were. I don't know, man. I mean, obviously, come another month or two, you're not going to be very happy about it. But yeah, right now, I think you've got the better weather deal for us.
Oh, I was unaware of his move.
Yeah,
where'd he move?
He's in the Great White North of Alaska.
He moved to Alaska?
Well, didn't have much of a choice. That's part of military living. So they said, "Hey, you're coming up here." He's like, "All right, we're going up there." But got to hang out with them a little bit before they moved everything, and say him and his wife and his daughter just that's the hardest part. Is like they're only an hour and a half, 2 away now. Unfortunately, we'll have to do some big strategies to get out there. But yeah, he's a really good dude. Love the family to death. So yeah,
You never come over here.
We'll get that PC fixed up soon. Well, he only can go to places that where the aircrafts that he can work on. So he has a very limited list of places he's allowed to basically to deploy at. So, but yeah, so no, he's doing really well though, and so he's talking about being in the 30s and the 40s. But honestly, I'd still take that right now. Got another Jason Bogart fan though, Matt, and that is Lonnie Carly there. And right now, Jason is cruising here in that Flex Steel machine right now in 14th, right where he started. But he's also got his teammate Zach Perry right behind him there. So safe place to be is when you've got your buddies around you. Up front, though, Andrew Schroeder, he's got some love from Adam Kilday. You got the 84-85 cars working together. But then also the inside lane, Gabe still stayed pretty committed here. He's been pushing the 41 of Jeremy Osborne. The top line, like you talked about, Matt, the 17-25-071, they've stayed pretty committed to each other on that third lane, just like you had mentioned. And then unfortunately, we talked about earlier, Jack Walls, he's just about to get gobbled up by these guys. And my only concern for Jack is, will he have enough to be able to tag onto the back, or is he going to get dropped again? So I'm hoping he'll be able to tag on. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, right now he's been running about 1 minute laps, whereas the leaders have been in the 51-second brackets. I mean, 10 seconds damage plus no draft. That's huge, and it just shows how important it's going to be to make sure if we get those green flag pit stops, how close you're going to be, or how much you need to make sure you stay tight on some of those guys around you. You see Jack's going to stay nice and wide. Let the leaders all go by again. You never want to, but I'm a little nervous for him. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to tag on enough to hold these guys. So the nice part is, again, he's the only car a lap down or more. And yeah, he's definitely not going to tag on. So he's going to get a little bit of reprieve, get a little draft, and then unfortunately it's going to feel like an anchor's just dropped on that car once more. But up front though, Matt, Andrew Schroeder, he takes the point from help from Adam Kilday. And that Adam Kilday and his team, they've been killing it lately. They've had really good results with him, as well as obviously the 5 of Rick Sanchez. So that's a good team to group to drivers to be kind of working around with. So I think Andrew's in a good spot there.
Speaking of spots, someone is. Who is that back there in that pilot? Who is that? Jack Walls? I thought he just missed the draft again.
Yeah, no, he's got too much nose damage. He needs a yellow at this point. I think that's what he's kind of doing. Is he's just at this point he knows he's the only car one down. So it's like, you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and stick it out and see, because right now, if there's a caution, he get his lap back. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. And Caitlin, glad to see you. And yeah, well, you're gonna have a lot of love here on the broadcast tonight, for obviously you and Ryan and Dixon, and I say we're definitely gonna hopefully bring some attention. As Matt, almost go 4 wide there for a split second there. But yeah, definitely trying to raise as much attention and awareness as we can, because I mean, obviously we want to make sure that we help one another. And
steal that! Almost caused the. Oh my God, that was a great save.
Great save by Bud. Good reaction there by Gabe. He had to wiggle a little bit up too to make sure that there's no issues there. That was close.
You know, I'm gonna pick on Ryan Decker here for a minute. I appreciate the paint scheme, because that reminds me of the white car he drove over at Dover, and just wasting awareness. And that, hats off to you, brother. It's very, very kick butt. Their paint scheme there, man. Love it.
Big move by Bud Steele. He jumped to that third lane. They easily cleared Andrew Schroeder. And now they're going to drop down. Actually, well, Gabe's going to drop. It looked like Gabe was thinking about maybe staying in that third lane, but he's going to drop down as well. And yeah, so right now, these guys still staying pretty 2x2. Again, Matt, we talked about fuel mileage, about 25 laps or so. So based on that, I'm going to say lap 35 window opens. Question mark, of course, is going to be, does anybody maybe try to split this remaining race evenly with the 2 stops that are left or not? So we'll kind of have to wait and see on that one. No clothing raffles this week. I'd say I'm trying to keep my viewership, so I don't want to chase anybody away.
You've been doing that for years. Just kidding.
They aren't supposed to know about that, Matt. Right now, though, we're 3x3 up top, and you can see Schroeder and so you got the 84 and the 48 working together there. And right now, nothing too much yet, but again, it takes a little bit of time to build that momentum up. And again, too, with as banked as this track is in the turns, especially in the starts, the inside line to me is kind of where you want to be, at least through the turns, and then you want to try to find a way to build that momentum up. To me, Daytona Talladega, oh man, I was close between the 21 and the 41. Big move by Andrew Schroeder. He said, yep, I'm taking that middle lane. He slots on in there as well. But yeah, to me, middle lane is where you want to be. Daytona Talladega. I like the bottom lane more here, I feel like, just because I feel like more is in your control.
I'd be more afraid to be on the bottom. Just to be, yeah. There's always that risk for the guy on the bottom, you know.
And that's why, yeah, that's why I like
coming up. But
yep.
I feel like you have more control up top, though. Like,
yeah, there's more in your control where you can make, hey, we need to make a move, we got to push. If you're on the bottom, let's say you're where Jacob Lee is. There's not a lot you can do right now. You're kind of pinned in. Same thing for Rick Sanchez. Like, there's nowhere really for them to go at the closing stages of a race. So in that sense, yeah, I agree with you. I don't know. I always feel like I like the bottom of the track here because if something goes wrong, you got some more wiggle room. Man, Vicente.
Really pushing the limit here.
Yeah, Vicente made a big move there. I saw a little bit of a blink there. Looks like everybody's good now. I'm wondering if that might be why, if maybe it was Vicente that had a little blink. Maybe he was trying to jump up and go somewhere safer, but looks like everybody's regrouping and getting back after it here. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But once again, though, these guys are starting to get ready to try to get a little racy there. As you can see, yeah, and actually now the field's just about to catch that 83 a second time to put him 2 down. But while we're watching all of that, though, the 88 and the 71, those 2 boot knockers are going to take the point here right ahead of Ryan Decker. But talked about the 5 being stuck on the inside line. I think he heard us, Matt, because he said, yeah, you know what? Let me get up top here. And he's going to get a great push by Vicente and might actually be able to get to the point here entering turn 3.
Yeah, if I was Jack, oh boy. If I was Jack, I would have taken that faster because right now they are passing him like he's sitting still with that damage.
That was, I mean, we were on board there on the roof cam of Vicente, and that was terrifying. I mean, I did not see that happen. And
Danger, Will Robinson.
Yeah, and that's a 4 tires and change of pants there, probably for Vince, because again, we were on the roof and we saw that a little bit late. He's locked on behind the back of the 5 car. He sees even less than we did on that roof cam. So, yeah, that was terrifying. But in all of that, we were talking about talking about Rick, I should say. And he went to the top, got the lead, back to the bottom. And now we're 3 wide here for the front. Give you guys a break from us for just a second there. But man, that was, I was saying, while I was watching that, I was kind of holding my breath because there was some really close quartered racing there, almost door to door from a couple drivers. But we still stay 3x3 on the front 2 rows. Add Adam Kilday to the mix. Now he's going to peek in there, as is the 017 of Jason Bogart. They said, you know what, let's go for it here. So we got some guys making some moves. As you can see, Jason there, he's going to jump to the middle lane, and you saw immediately Zach Perry, he jumped right along with them there. I think they saw the momentum shift maybe starting to form. And so with all of that happening, you're kind of looking to see, okay, where are the lanes going? Dean Wilkinson, he says, I like that third lane right now. That looks like that's where the place is going to be to try to pull forward. So he's jumped up top as well there. But right now, it's hard to see who's got the edge over the other ones right now because they are all... Dean's going to take a 4 wide here in the 55 car, Matt, in that Cheerwine machine. And so we'll see what they do here. This is where 3 is okay. 4 is a little nervous entering turn number 3. And it looks like, I think, oh, Andrew Schroeder, big wobble there. And you can see there the 17 reacted, the 55 reacted. And that's going to cost a lot of momentum for all 3 of those drivers. So right now we are on lap 30. Again, scheduled distance is lap 35. So halfway point of this one will be right around that lap 37, 38 mark. Again, with it being an odd number. I think 38 is the official halfway point on this one. But again, fuel mileage wise, I think these guys got about 4, maybe 5 laps left on fuel. To me, again, the question mark is going to be, when do you come in? Do you maybe think about trying to come in a little early, catch your opposition off guard? But I do think this is a track, Matt, as well. Daytona, Talladega, you can pit, stay on the lead lap. iRacing and Atlanta, I don't think you can. I think you pit, you put a lap down. So that might be a reason not to short pit in this race here. So we'll have to, same thing, keep an eye on that one. And yeah, I lean at, I say, literally as I was saying that, it's like, I think actually I would prefer to run long because I don't want to get risk getting put a lap down. And I'm sure Jack Walls is thinking the same thing, like, yes, please don't go a lap down because I want that wave around.
Yeah, that would be really a dagger in his race. So I'm probably looking at lap 33. As you said before, you said they would go, what, 25 per tank?
Yeah, about 25 per tank. So it should put us right at that lap 35 marker with them pitting right around lap 10.
Yeah, so my next question is, you remember when we ran Dega? No, it was a Daytona. I think it was Daytona that we have that hot track test. So now,
much cooler here today.
So, are these guys going to take right sides, left sides, or no tires?
I think it depends on how much fuel they're going to need. I feel like at iRacing, again, these cars are going faster. The fuel tanks are going to be bigger, which means it's going to take longer to fill up. Will it be 4 tires long? I'm skeptical, but the time you lose, will it maybe offset the time you gain? Because I know with fresh tires, you can usually hustle the apron getting out of pit road. And I know there's been some races where you lose a little bit of time, but then you gain it all right back just in that one little moment. So it'll be interesting to see. I think we'll probably see a little bit of everything, as we'll see if we get there, because we're starting to get pretty tight here with one another as Andrew Schroeder's trying to get back to the point with help from Adam Kilday. But yeah, and speaking of which, I say they're coming back up again on Jack Walls. I feel like you if you blink and they're catching him again. Again, he's about 9 seconds a lap slower with the damage and without a draft. So, but yeah, I'm going to be interested to see, because I do think there's probably going to be a lot of fuel only. I think it really depends on your pit road, though. As you see, Kevin Freeze, actually, he's jumped to the bottom. And again, Matt, this is one of the most difficult pit roads to get onto. So we'll have to wait and see. See, Jack, he's going to run that third lane. There they go. And the 5's going to jump down low here. And so we'll see if we see any sharp left turns. And again, you usually have to slow down a tiny bit before you get into pit road. But answer is no. No takers as of yet this time by.
Now, with these cars, you know how hard it is to brake.
Yeah.
I had a hard time in practice of coming down pit road and you get into speed. But
I was hearing the same from the drivers. I heard the same thing. These cars are harder to get onto pit road with than what they've been used to with the trucks and the Xfinity cars. So, and that's why they might even need to slow down a little bit more than they did before, because you can't full throttle this thing out of 4 and then stomp on the brakes. You need to start slowing down a little bit before, and that's why this track in Atlanta, they do require that you call out your pit stops ahead of time. That way the drivers around can know, hey, okay, we need to move a lane up or whatever we need to do to try to avoid that wreck entering pit road, because again, these guys really do try to pride themselves in having hard but clean racing. So we'll see, because again, we're on 35 now, Matt, so they've hit the number to be able to make it from here on one more stop.
Well, the Unical car is trying to win that Unical bonus money by leading halfway here, so nope, he's going to die back right behind Adam Kilday there. I think everybody is trying to find their way toward the bottom. I think Adam's trying to push Andrew Schroeder up to the lead, so he could have, I guess, you'd say, easier pit stop.
Yeah, I mean, to me, yeah, if you can have a smaller crew of drivers entering pit road, I think that's job number one. I feel like there's probably going to be some drivers that can run probably just one lap longer than the rest of the field, just due to the fact that they've been probably sitting and saving for so long. And again, this is kind of what I'd be doing as well, as I'd just be cruising, saving fuel. And then once I know the guys that have been burning fuel have to pit in like 1 or 2 laps, that's where I jump to the second lane, like we've seen the 76 of Zach Perry do, the 017 of Jason Bogart do. That's when I start to try to make my time up, because again, you can pit, but you don't want to be pitting from, let's say, 15th position, because again, you're over a second back off the leader, so you're already kind of at a second deficit. And if you make any mistake here, you're going to be in for a hard time. As you see, here comes people. I think we're about to see pit stops here, Matt.
Yeah, I think that's why Andrew's dropping to the back here, so he can get the pit road here. He's going to drop down right behind Jim Brooks here. I think he's coming down pit road. Yep, they all are coming. Yeah, can they make it down pit road speed? That's the question.
So far, these guys look like they've done a great job getting down speed. So that is 10th through 17th there. So 8 cars on pit road here. So a really good job by them. So that means we have 9 cars left that haven't pitted. You've got 2 teammates now in front, the 5 and the 85. Then you've got Zach Perry, Jason Bogart right together as well. And then you got some of the Roswell guys also in that mix. And so this is now, again, these guys that went an extra lap. Oh, Adam Kilday, he's jumping top here. Is he maybe low on fuel? Is he having to sputter? And maybe says, I don't want to risk it and run over here. So we'll keep an eye on 85, because it looks like he's going to drop to the back here. And then I would suspect hit pit road. So looking at pit stop times, Matt, I'm seeing a lot of 12 to 14 seconds. That, to me, is a little bit of 2, a little bit of 4. Oh, man, these guys are really bunched up, and that's what I was afraid of. Big hit there. Bunch of cars around. Caution is out.
Caution is out.
And none of these guys are going to make it onto pit road. That pit road's going to be closed by the time they got there. And so this is going to shake the order up a lot here with penalties. And the admins are going to get a little busy. But you could just tell there that there was such a stack up happening there. And unfortunately, I think it was the 76 there, Zach Perry, that got the... I thought it was Zach Perry that got the worst. Yeah, there you go. Look at that car. That right front tire is definitely not pointing in the right direction. But I saw some quick reactions there for Ryan Decker. He's got left front damage as well. That's a heartbreaker. But let's go back again. A lot of these guys do have a fast repair available. But let's go back. We're going to watch this pit road entry, and we're going to watch between the 76 of Zach Perry and a little further up as well, to see where we can really get a good view of this contact. So we'll run slow-mo here. And yeah, you see the 17 and the 76, they get together, and it's just everybody stacks up. They're trying to all pit right on top of each other. And then, so you see he has the big hit there, but then we go back here as well to Jason Bogart, and you can see, I mean, he's got the rear end lifted up off the ground from the 48, who was right behind him. You see Jacob Lee just able to cut to the inside here. But we'll see if there's any others involved. Nick Wing. Oh, yeah, Nick Wing, a pretty big shot as well. And then watching Nick in front of Jim Brooks. I think Jim gets it woe down not to get into the back. But then a bunch of them, though, just either driving through pit road. But you can see those guys making the decision just to drive back on track. So there will be some pit penalties for entering a closed pit, things of that nature. So we'll have to wait and see how that all shakes out. So right now, Ryan Decker is on pit road. Again, this is his scheduled stop. He's going to have some damage to repair on that number 48 machine. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. But what we will do, Matt, is, like I say, you saw the Sensi ad there. We saw the other ads there in the back, Sensi for Dixon. So let's do that. Let's show off Sensi for Dixon here. We'll be right back.
At Scentsy, we love fragrance. How it makes us feel, how it connects us to our deepest memories, how sharing those memories connects us with each other.
And as it turns out, there's a lot of people who feel the same way and share Scentsy's core values of simplicity, authenticity, and generosity. Our beautiful campus in Meridian, Idaho welcomes employees, consultants, and the community year-round.
That's why we've grown from selling just warmers and wax to selling a complete line of products, so you can fill your life with fragrance no matter where your day takes you.
Whether it's fun partnerships with beloved brands, innovative, high-performing cleaning products, laundry care that smells as good as it works, or personal care products to create your signature scent, Scentsy products are made to share.
Maybe that's why our culture has always felt like family. We call it Scentsy Spirit. It's a feeling of love, acceptance, generosity, and community that we share freely with everyone we meet. And we welcome you to experience it yourself. Like it? Buy the product. Love it? Host a get-together with your friends. Want more? Start your own Scentsy business. You can earn amazing trips around the world and rewards. You can work your business whenever and wherever you want, giving you more time for the things and people that matter most. Ask your Scentsy consultant for more info.
All right, lights are off of the pace car. And again, so you saw the Scentsy advertisement. That is Caitlin Decker's side hustle, if you will. I say so. Definitely, again, if you're in the market for anything along those lines, definitely check her out. You could scan that QR code. If you didn't catch it now, you can go ahead and I say you should be able to rewind it. You can grab it there, scan it with your phone. And then, yeah, like I mentioned as well, you can see the National Kidney Registry on the side as well. They're trying to find a donor for their son Dixon. The link is right below in the info there, so definitely anything can help. If it's donations, if you can register to see if you're a match, yeah, everything would be greatly appreciated. So he's going to take a quick splash of fuel, roll out of pit road. We're going to jump back up front because there's probably a lot of work on the back end being done by the admins, unfortunately. With the way that timing of that caution fell, it's always tricky to kind of have that pit stop, or sorry, the caution in the middle of pit stops, I mean. So yeah, so unfortunately a tough break for some guys, but it looks like we've pretty much got everybody. I'm a little nervous though, one more time here, Matt. Nick Wing is just leaving pit road here. I don't think he's going to get there in time. I'm honestly not even sure if Ryan Decker is going to get there in time because these guys, leaders, are off of turn 4. And yeah, Peter, wish you were here, man. Hate that you missed this one tonight. I know you'll accidentally on purpose miss up. We're going to go one more lap under yellow. Looks like I don't think everybody was quite organized at the moment, so they're going to kind of restack them and get things lined up, which is really honestly a good break for some of those guys. And again, I think the admins want to make sure everything is to the up and up because there's definitely some, again, the timing of the yellow really threw things for a loop there. So they're going to try to get things taken care of. And yeah, the 90 mile an hour pace speed makes things a little tricky. So, but yeah, Peter, since you missed this one, I think you got to make it up by running Atlanta here. I think it's next week if I'm not mistaken. So, I'll put it on my calendar that you'll be here for that one. Anyway, so we talked about great causes as well. Peter's one of those as well with the Extra Life Foundation. He does such amazing paint schemes, and for a split second you saw on the back of that 17 car, this is a Peter DeBorgia paint scheme. And he doesn't take any donations for it for himself. All he'd ask is if you can donate to the Extra Life Foundation. So a big shout to Peter. There's that logo on the back, and that is one of those Peter DeBorgia's designs. He does really good stuff, and so you'll see a lot of his paint schemes. So yeah, so I say I'm gonna suspect this one's probably one of Peter's as well in the 88 car, probably the 55, or sorry, the 071. We'll get those right. We'll watch the back of it. Is there a Peter logo on there? Oh, nothing hiding there. He might be sneaking that one in, but oh, well, I guess being a dad first is probably fair enough. So I'll let that one slide. But yeah, man, Peter, hope you and the family are all doing really well. It's always fun seeing you on here, and honestly, I always enjoy catching you when you get to do your speed run streams and and of course all the pictures you send from the events you do. So it's really, really cool. All right, Matt, we're going to restart this thing with 34 to go. Again, fuel mileage, these guys can go about 25-ish on fuel. That means there's within 10 laps, these guys could hit pit road, or do they go all the way to the end and then hit a splash of fuel? We're going to find out. We're back underway. Jeremy Osborne, Jimmy Reynolds are front row. As we get back to green here, Matt, 34 to go. All right, so I'll make a note to myself not to request a Gen 4 paint scheme from Peter, but joking aside, obviously. But yeah, so Matt, we're back to it here. It looks like we've got all 17 drivers on the lead lap all together. A little bit of separation here between Adam Kilday and Jim Brooks. I think Bud Steele's going to be able to shove him back up there. Jacob Lee is not too far behind as well. And then Jack Walls, finally, that car looks all better. He's got the faster pair done. Actually, he got a little bit of rear end damage still, that left rear. I'm not sure if that was... I'm curious about that. Although he did a minute 28 on pit road, so maybe he just opted to fix more, but we'll have to wait and see. But right now he still sits 3 down, so he's still going to need a little bit of help here to make it. Oh, actually, I was going to say ignore Bud Steele in the pits, but no, that's the 6 car serving a pit road penalty, I suspect. That's a tough one to see as well. So he's same thing for Bud. Now he's going to have to hope for a timely caution to be able to get back into the thick of this one. So we'll wait and see. But again, still lots of time to go here. Still one more pit stop to go. But right now, so you've got the boot knocker and affiliates there on the inside there with the 25, 17, and the 88. I think the only guy they're missing there. Who we missing? Oh, we're missing a Kevin Freeze. No, Kevin's right there. He's up top. Sorry. So they're all together. Just 3 of them are on the inside line. Oh, a little bobble there by Jimmy. Gabe gave him some room. He's back up in line. But yeah, up front though, Jeremy Osborne, he's had a really solid race so far tonight, Matt. He's been able to kind of just stay towards the front half of it. He's led some laps. I feel like this is definitely one of those races. If he can just stay, he's got to stay in contention at the right time, at the right place. And I think he'll have a really good chance at this one. Because, again, I think the job number 1, though, is going to be just making sure you get to that last pit stop clean and then go after it to the end. But, yeah, a really solid race for him so far. However, big pushes by Dean Wilkinson. He's going to get Kevin Freeze to the front. And we're going to get a little bit of a train here up front for these top about 8 or so spots.
Oh, well. Well, I was going to say everybody was starting to go single file, but I just spoke too soon.
Yep, 1788. It was someone saying, yeah, we want to be up front. So now look at the very top, though. You got those 2 teammates, 5 and 85. We know how good they've been so far this season. They're looking at that 3rd lane. They're going to try to pull themselves further up. And again, there is no fuel dramas here. Everybody can make it one more stop. I think the big question, Matt, is going to be how much fuel do you want to put in? Because obviously you have an option. You can go basically bare minimum. You can go extra for all 3. Or you can say just, I'm going to give myself a little bit of wiggle room. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. But I can't tell you that you see Bud Steele here. Oh, we got contact so far. Everybody's okay. Kevin, oh my goodness. I don't know how Kevin hung on to that thing. That thing was wobbling everywhere. But it looks like cars are all saved. Everybody's going to hold on to it. That was a very, very close call for a lot of drivers there. I'm sure Bud Steele's looking in his mirror. He's like, yeah, someone spin out. I need that. I want to stay in the lead lap here. Unfortunately, did not go to fruition. He's going to run that 3rd lane, but should safely be able to tuck in, I think, right here behind the 28 of Nick Wing. And yes, he will do that. So he's now going to be the first car 1 down. Unfortunately for Jack Walls, because now Jack's going to be 3 down and would not be in. Actually, I'm showing Bud 2 down. I apologize. So yeah, actually very surprised by that. I think he had a 40-second stop and hold, it looks like. So that's unfortunate. What kind of did Bud in there at the moment. So he'll need 2 yellows. And yeah, Jack's going to be in a tough spot here. But up front though, 17 back up to the lead with the 88. You got the 5 there in 3rd. Then Eric Laurie, Ryan Decker, Adam Kilday. As Adam's going to now make a charge back up to the front after that little hiccup, if you will, Matt, with Kevin Freeze as his pusher.
Well, Kevin Freeze, me, helping me. That is actually a pretty good spot. As Gabe said, he's one of the best pushers around here, so I will take his word.
And yes, definitely the key of the race is going to be to put enough fuel in. So hopefully everybody does that. I think we'll be pretty safe on everybody doing that one. But man, Kevin is really tight. Looks like they're even feeling comfortable enough, Matt, to do a little bit of pushing down the turns there as well, as he's got the 85 clear. I don't think he's cleared himself. And actually, look at the nose of that 25 car. Try to see if we can find it off the rear here. Oh, actually, Adam already got to the bottom, so I couldn't do that there. But I see a little bit of a right front wrinkle on that 25 of Kevin Freeze. Right there, you can see that tire protruding out a little bit. That right front fender's kind of sticking out or pushed in, I should say, just a little bit. We'll see if it's enough to affect him or not. Right now, he's got just a nose ahead, so it can't be that bad. But yeah, right now though, oh my goodness, big move by Kevin. Knew he was clear. He cuts immediately down. And again, Matt, something we've talked about, that is the right way to do it, because if you drift slowly down the inside line, they're going to pick up your draft and pull right back up to you, and that's how you actually get kind of hooked in the left rear. So that is the way to do it, although it seems terrifying as it happens.
Yeah, I learned how to do it Saturday. I did not do a good job the first time I tried to do it. As you said, I went slow, like I was afraid to do the move. End up spinning myself, so that was a big lesson learned. So these guys make quick moves, and I see it every time in Superspeedway racing. Just these young guys, they know what they're doing. Some of these old cats, they've been around a long time. This Superspeedway racing, it's a fine line. It's an art, but you guys have to do it week in and week out. And I haven't perfected that skill yet.
No, it definitely takes a lot of trial and error, but looking into that third lane, though, 6 of Bud Steele, he's getting some big pushes from the 84 there of Andrew Schroeder. And this is a little bit offset there. I'll say this is a good opportunity for Bud Steele, because if he can clear these guys and get to the front, that would put him from 2 down to 1 down. And then if there's a yellow behind him, as long as he's not involved, of course, he would actually get his lap back. So almost be gaining technically pretty much 2 laps back. So Bud Steele is definitely right now the biggest Andrew Schroeder fan, just telling him to give him all the pushes he can handle. And I think if he could clear Dean, that'd be an option now where then Dean could lock onto him and maybe shove him to the front. So we'll see if that comes to fruition. That's definitely what Bud especially wants to have happen, but still obviously a long, long ways to go on that one. And Matt, I'm going to jump to somebody that we haven't talked a lot about, and I'm surprised to see him kind of in full cruise control here, and that is Vicente Guerrero there in that Vince Service and Repair Chevrolet. And yeah, I'm not used to seeing Vince kind of this cruise control. I'm expecting him to see him up in the top 4 or 5, kind of duking it out for the lead in for the control of this race. So maybe a different approach being taken by the 14 here tonight.
Yeah, he's in the back just chilling. Why bother, pushing the envelope? Let's see. You got 51 to go. And there's no reason to... Well, I'm sorry. We're on lap 51. My bad. I'm sorry. Failure. But anyway, he doesn't want to push the envelope. Usually when we get toward pit stops, then I see a Vince... probably going up there, because you want to race for the win.
Oh, and there you go, Matt. That was a big moment right there. Dean Wilkinson jumping in front of, Bud Steele jumping in front of Dean Wilkinson, who is now our leader of the race. So right now, Bud is the tail end of the lead lap, which means should there be a caution, he would basically wave around to the back of the field and then get the wave around. So, like I said, basically getting 2 laps back. So right now, Bud wants somebody to make a mistake. You never want that, but that's his best chance right now to try to become back on the lead lap and have a chance to win this race. So I say you can see him in the I Love the 70s paint scheme with the tie-dye all over and everything like that. I told you, man, he's always got some original paint schemes. He's got another one here tonight.
So here's the kicker. with Dean pushing him, right? I know he's got 1 lap back, and he can go all the way around. So right now he's scored 1 lap down. If he don't have an incident point, or if the caution comes out, so technically he could have like a bonus and have like 2 laps back, basically, in one shot.
Yeah, exactly right. So that's what I'm saying. He wants something to happen behind him. Again, you never want that to happen. At least you won't say it out loud. But yeah, he's rooting for a mistake happening in the back. But right now I think we might have a little train going here. So we're going to take advantage of that, Matt. Let's show off some of our drivers here. We're kicking off with our leader there, Dean Wilkinson, in the 55, up 6 spots to the lead at the moment. Behind him is Eric Laurie, up 9 spots into second. Kevin Freeze, a little bit of right front damage, sits in third. Adam Kilday, last week's winner, is in fourth, plus 14. Jimmy Reynolds started fourth, currently in fifth in that number 17 Extra Life. And right behind him is Gabe Butler in that number 88 Guinness machine there. In sixth, Jacob Lee in the 21 City Chevrolet is in seventh, 10 spots up from his starting spot. Then you've got the New York Jets Chevrolet of Andrew Schroeder in eighth. Right behind him, Rick Sanchez, right where he started in the 9th spot. And then Ryan Decker is in 10th in that number 48 Sensi machine. In 11th, Jeremy Osborne looks like he's kind of settled in a little bit. He's been up front a lot. You can see also maybe a little bit of left front damage, or that just might be the tire sticking through the fenders with the way this game is sometimes. But he is in 11th. Zach Perry in that 76 machine sits in the 12th spot with his teammate right behind him, Jason Bogart, in that Flex Seal Chevrolet in 13th. Then we got Nick Wing behind him in that Havoline Ford Taurus there in the 14th spot. Jim Brooks in the Area 51 car is in 15th. Then we talk about Vicente Guerrero 16th, and I think he said, you know what, it's time to go. He's going to jump up top here because he doesn't like this train, so he's going to jump right now further forward. And we talked about Bud Steele right now. He is on the tail end of 1 lap down. So right now, hoping for a caution to help him out. And I believe, not sure what happened here, but Jack Wall's kind of off on his own now. But he is now showing 3 laps down. Yeah, not sure how he lost the draft or win. I'm showing the last pit in lap 33. So a little confused there. But right now, unfortunately, Jack is last in 18. Just has not been the night for him. As we'll jump back up front, Matt, because we are in the fuel window to the end. We're at 20 to go. Again, though, the question mark is going to be, do you pit early? Do you pit late? How much fuel do you plan on green, white checkers? Again, I think you pit late just because of the risk of getting put a lap down. But if it's a short enough pit stop, you could maybe get away with a fuel-only stop and staying on the tail end of the lead lap. So it's going to be fun to see what the strategy is for some of these guys. And then, of course, then how quick does everybody else respond?
Well, we see one car responding, that 14 of Vicente Guerrero, as I talked about earlier. He was up there chilling.
There we go.
Now he's going all the way up toward the front. Now we got pit stops.
And
Can these guys get down
pretty
to speed?
much the field here. This is a huge group, man. This is all but 4 cars, I think. Yeah, all but 4 cars. So the 6, the 14, the 21. And then Jim Brooks is going to have to pedal it a little bit to try to get back to those guys. He's still in the draft window. But these guys, with this small of a group, I think these guys have to react. They're going to have to pit this time. I'm very surprised that many drivers pitted together, though, I must admit.
Yeah, I think Vince is losing time here. Because now, Vince is really pushing the 6.
But what you lose on track time potentially, I think you can regain on a pit entry because you've got a much smaller group. You feel a lot more confident. You can get in a little more aggressively. And, yeah, here they come together, the 14, the 21, and the 51. And it looks, again, so much calmer entry. Hopefully not too slow of an entry like you had mentioned. And then Bud Steele, he's going to stay out because he's basically hoping for a caution. So his goal is going to be run this thing out as far as he possibly can. The one thing that they do have going for him, though, Matt, is look at the gaps between all these cars, between the 25, the 55, the 88. This is very, very spread out. So this does bode well for Vince to have a chance here. As you see, actually, all 3 of these guys coming out together. So they got to make sure no speeding penalties first off. And I also got to say, shorter pit stops for all these guys. Jacob Lee's going to win the race out. 6.7, 6.4 for Vince, 7 for Jim. It was 7.5 seconds for Kevin Freeze. So what we're going to do is we're going to watch off the back of that certain Jacob Lee, and we'll see how they sort out. But I think these guys are looking good going that one extra lap.
Oh yeah, they're looking really good. God, who's that other orange car? Is that Bogart all the way back? No, this is Jim Brooks. All the way back there. Oh, he's got Jack Walls back there.
Yeah, he's got Jack Walls, so you can see, yeah, they're going to be safe. Let's go to Jim Brooks here now. Here comes the field to him. They're going to go 3 wide momentarily. Jim should safely hold on to this draft as well, because they're going to clear him. Then they'll drop to the bottom of the turn. He'll be able to pick up the toe, I believe, of that 76. So same thing, though. He can't make any mistakes, but I think he'll be safe, especially, like I said, he's got Jack Walls to give him a little bit of love. But these guys definitely are good to go here. They'll tag onto this, but it's going to be Jimmy Reynolds back to the point here in that 17 with a lot of pushing help from Eric Laurie. And then you see Rick Sanchez immediately drops down to the inside line as soon as he clears. And I think I spoke too soon, Matt. I think, unfortunately, 51 is going to lose that draft as he is now 1.5 seconds off of Andrew Schroeder. But it does look like Vicente and...
he's got some help. He's got Jack Walls behind him. And
yeah,
Jack Walls is pushing your pops back there. He maybe.
I say Ticker's going the wrong way, unfortunately, but we'll keep an eye. Boy. Unfortunately, the other two in a bad spot right here is Jason Bogart, Jeremy Osborne. They also fell off the draft during the pit stops. And like I mentioned, Bud Steele has not pitted yet. He's going to run this thing out as far as he can. He's banking on a yellow. But right now, and yeah, lap time wise, yeah, it's going the wrong way, Matt. Jim's over 2 seconds, and it's clicking really quickly the wrong way, but you never know. I'll say I'm not going to give spoiler alerts, obviously, for the real race in case anybody missed it. But sometimes not being in the main pack, if there's a wreck, sometimes that's the place to be. And as I say, that could actually put him in a very safe spot if these guys get too racy. Because again, we still got 16 laps to go here. So a lot's going to happen. And these guys, again, they're going to start to get a little more aggressive lap after lap. Pushes are going to get harder. They're going to kind of squeeze each other a little tighter. And I mean, mistakes happen, and we're racing over the internet, so it's not always perfect.
Well, I think you're talking about Denny Hamlin's race today.
No spoilers.
But anyway, speaking of Denny Hamlin, look at Ryan Decker on the outside and almost that white, beautiful paint scheme there.
Gabe.
He has taken the lead.
Look at Gabe Butler. He squeezes the middle on Kevin Freeze there. Now the middle of Dean Wilkinson. And he's going to go around these guys. He's saying, hey, you guys are letting way too much gap there. I'm going to go ahead and fill that gap. And he's going to jump to third now. He's got the 14 Vicente Guerrero behind him. Kevin Freeze jumped in there as well. So, yeah, so it's interesting how that all shook out there. And I think it was just that. I think there's just too much space being given. And Gabe's like, hey, if you guys are going to leave this door wide open for me, I'm going to go ahead and go forward. But yeah, like you said, the Ryan Decker to the point. Right now he's got Rick as his pusher, but here comes Gabe. Big push from Vicente Guerrero. Remember talking about Vince just laying in the back and saving fuel?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's pushing Gabe to the front here, and he's going for it.
He's got plenty of fuel.
Big move.
He's got one lap pretty good. Yeah, I know it.
Yeah, and that's going to be the other question, Matt, is how much fuel did these guys put in? Did they go in for all three? Did they go just to the scheduled distance? There's a lot that you can still play with there. So it's going to be interesting to see. But again, though, for these other guys, right now, they just got to play it safe here. If you're a little further back, I don't think it's time to make the big moves yet. Like I said, like the 76 of Zach Perry, he's still in that main pack, as well as Andrew Schroeder, Jacob Lee. And so, yeah, so the ones that went long, Matt, that one extra lap, were the 14 of Vicente Guerrero and the 21 of Jacob Lee. Unfortunately for Jim Brooks, could not keep up with the draft. You just saw him there at the very top of your screen. Does have Jack Walls as a helper, but unfortunately, it's just losing so much time lap after lap. About 3 seconds a lap at the moment. So, yeah, so he's just going to, again, he's got to hope for some troubles, unfortunately, which is never the position you want to be in. But as I say that, we got some big moves happening. Rick Sanchez there, he saw the open. Oh, he jumped top there, but jumped up too high. Gabe Butler's like, you gave me too much room again. And he jumps back inside of him. Rick said, you know what? Let me roll on back here because I'm not going to force the issue. And it looks like
very smart.
Again, I mean, there's still 12 to go here at the line. He's still got plenty of time. I can tell you, Bud Steele is on pit road. that's a tough break for him because, again, he was going for that gamble, hoping for a yellow in between the pit stop cycles because he was just one down. This is going to then... Actually, I think this does put him back to one down as he was, for the moment, the tail end of the lead lap. So yeah.
Look at Dean on that very top lane. Oh, he pretty much lost his help.
Yes, and that's the thing is, it's really... Oh, my goodness. It's
really these moves.
Yeah, it's really tough when you're trying to stay behind somebody, especially once you get to the third lane. You got to stay so locked on to each other. But we're going to jump back up front because Vince is going to take the point. But now he's jumping to the top.
What's the deal? Why is everybody going to the third lane?
I'm very interested as well. It's like I could see it if nobody wanted to lead because of a fuel situation, but they all pitted. They all should be good to go on the fuel mileage side of things. So I'm very intrigued. Or is it just these guys are seeing? Are they saying?
Or are they showing off?
How long does it take to maybe make that charge to the front before we then? And so maybe it's they're just trying to time their runs where it's like, okay, I can make this push here. As again, you can see there, the 5 was right on the rear of Andrew Schroeder. Andrew had to give up the spot. Oh, he tried to cut down, couldn't do it. The 17 filled the gap there before he had a chance to slide on down. So he's gonna have to drop to the back now. And yeah, right now it's kind of just that ebb and flow. And yeah, I don't know, man. It's interesting. Doesn't seem like there's any real rhyme or reason. Kevin Freeze, that fender push does look like it's better. Not sure if that was a fast repair or possibly just damage repairs during his pit stop. But either way, that right front's looking much happier.
Hopefully these drivers will give us some insight for what's really going on.
I'll be curious to see, as we got 10 to go, so we still got some time left in this one. Leaders are about to catch Bud Steele, which would put him... Actually, I think that would put him 3 down. Oh, trouble.
Oh, we got a wreck.
Oh, bunch of cars involved here. The 071, the 28, the 5, the 85 is almost one of those ones where it's who wasn't involved in it. Zach Perry caught up in that one. So yeah, so unfortunate caution out. Oh, big damage to Vicente as well. So yeah, so we're going to have a number of drivers here with some damage to repair. It looks like Jacob Lee's definitely got a piece of it as well. Jimmy Reynolds, yeah, left front damage to him. I think it might just be the top 3 that get away unscathed in this one. Caution's out. That's a huge break for Bud Steele. He's going to be able to stay 2 laps down, now get the wave around to go to 1 down. But let's go back here, Matt. Let's take another look. See if we can find out what brought this yellow out. And we're going to jump out a little further. All right, I'm going to focus on the 88 of Gabe Butler. I see him peeking to the inside of Adam Kilday. Is this where it begins? No, actually, look at that. Oh, you know what I think? It's kind of one of those, not accordion effects, but the 88's to the inside of the 85. The 85's like, I got to give room to the 88. And in doing so, the 5 is expecting... Basically, I think Rick is expecting the 85 to be where the 88 is. But yeah, so it's basically just everybody's kind of going for the same real estate. I don't think there's any... There's no fault in this. It's just unfortunately everybody's going for the same real estate. Yeah. And so I'm sure it was a late 3-wide call from the spotters. And then, yeah, so you can see this is now where everybody starts to kind of just pile in each other. You see the 85, 48, 21 on the inside, 76. On the outside, you got the 5, the 20. Oh, Vince almost gets through. He takes that big shot. I think Andrew Schroeder honestly gets through it fairly decently. But then, yeah, here's all the guys in the back. So I'm going to focus one more time out. We're going to go a little further back. I want to watch Andrew Schroeder on this one because he was at the very end of it. And then what we'll do is we're going to slow it down here. We'll hop on board. And so this is what Andrew sees. So he's going to try to cut down to the inside, able to avoid Vince and company. You see him up on the top there, Ryan Decker. I think he gets through this unscathed in that 48, and still a little bit of drama there.
Whee!
Well done, Andrew Schroeder. That's about all you can hope for in that situation. So we're going to jump back live, and pretty much as expected, the 25, the 55, the 88 not involved, they stay out. Andrew Schroeder not involved, they stay out. It does look like Jimmy Reynolds does stay out as well. A little bit of left front fender damage, but probably not too bad. And again, on the spoiler alert side of things, Matt, Jim Brooks lost the draft. Works out very well for him because now he jumps all the way to 6th position where he was sitting around, I want to say 16th. So 10 position gain for him. And then drivers, actually, it looks like, and same thing for, Jason Bogart as well. Same situation for him. He lost the draft, but stayed on the lead lap. He jumps all the way up into 7th position. And then drivers getting some fast repairs, damage repairs. You see Jacob Lee there, Jeremy Osborne. I think Jeremy was just a normal pit stop for him, not certain. Vicente Guerrero had a lengthy stop as well. So some guys right here, Nick Wing, I think some of these guys are opting for trying to get their damage repaired manually. Nick Wing, Zach Perry, just rolling off now, Adam Kilday. So, yeah, it's all shaken up a little bit here. Again,
much.
not in the green-white checkered window yet,
Nope.
as we're going to restart this thing, I believe, with 6 to go. So we'll have to keep an eye out on that. Fuel mileage, again, I think is out of the question, especially for those that went ahead and just pitted there. There should be no issues for them. So, yeah, so now it's just going to be kind of a sprint to the finish here.
By the way, Bud Steele was the recipient of that lucky dog because he's only one down.
So now he's just 1 down in the 6 car. So he was 2 down. He was almost about to go 3 down, Matt, but they wrecked before they got to him. And so, like I said, that was what he was. Yeah, so I'll say that's where he was hoping to have when he was just the 1 down, about to go 2 down. Didn't quite pan out, but again, now he's the only car 1 down, and he's in a really good spot here to have a chance to. Because again, I mean, it's going to ramp up. These guys are going to be even more aggressive. Some of those guys that lost their track position, they're going to have to start hustling to try to get some of it back. Yeah, there's going to be a lot going on. Nick Wing just left pit road now. He had about 1.5 minutes of damage repairs. So he's going to same thing, have to hustle and catch the field. But yeah, so Matt, front row, we got the 25 of Kem Freeze. I see the Jimmy Johnson paint scheme, I think 48. You got 25 Kem Freeze, 55 Dean Wilkinson, 88 Gabe Butler, 17 of Jimmy Reynolds, and then the 84 and 51 of Jim Brooks are top 3 rows. Then you got Jason Bogart, Jacob Lee in the 4th row, and then you've got Jeremy Osborne and Vicente Guerrero in the 5th row. That is our top 10. And right now, Matt, still have 16 drivers on the lead lap. And as we know, any of these 16 drivers could win. And if we get another yellow, add a 17th driver in there. Bud Steele has still got a chance.
Well, I think these guys are nervous.
No, I think we're more nervous. This is their bread and butter.
Yeah.
They make this stuff look so easy, and then when I'm watching it, I get all tense. I'm just like, oh my goodness. But
well, as you look on the bottom of the racetrack here, look who's linked up on the bottom. That is going to be very, very tough.
Yeah, that's a stout combo. So we'll see. We talked about the preferred lanes. If it's inside, outside, we'll see if maybe we see him make some moves. But either way, the green flag's out. Kevin Freeze going to lead the field back to green. Gabe Butler behind him. Dean Wilkinson on his outside with Jimmy Reynolds. And I'm watching the 28 of Nick Wing, and he will not quite get there. So Nick's going to have to hope for some luck as well. But they head back into turn number 1 here. 6 to go. Pretty nice and organized there on that restart. And I think I just saw Bud Steele do exactly what I would do, and that is stay at the very back of this field. I think he's going to make sure he gets Ryan Decker up there, but then I think he's going to roll out of the way and let these guys kind of just stay in the draft, but not too close to it. But up front, though, 55-17 catches the apron. He's going to save it. But Dean Wilkinson to the point in that 55, but he's got a big gap ahead of him, or behind him, so they're going to get a big charge here. But look at that second lane, 21 pushing the 51.
3 wide. Look on the very outside.
Then you got
2
the 5.
teammates.
Yep, 5 and 85. We got 5 to go.
The question, are they going to have enough momentum? Are they going to clear it? No.
51 clears. Couldn't get the 21. 21 wanted to. Couldn't quite get there. So right now, Jim's leading on the inside lane. You've got the 21 Jacob Lee on the middle. And then Rick Sanchez leading the outside lane. But, man, Adam is just locked on to Rick's bumper here down the front.
Oh, no, we're going 4 here.
Oh, boy.
Your dad drift up just a little bit. We're going 3.
Oh,
contact. 4. Contact! That's going to be a yellow.
Oh, huge hits. Yeah,
Oh,
caution's
avoid
out.
it, Bud. Get that lap back. And it looks like he did not make any contact with anybody.
Oh,
Fortunate for him, but most of these cars. But Jim Brooks, oh man, what a
yeah.
heartbreak!
We'll go
What
back
a
and we'll take a look,
heartbreak!
and that's exactly what you said, Matt. If you give up that inside line, it's too risky. So, actually, going to back it up a little further here. And so yeah, so we're gonna actually see how this all occurred because yeah, you're spot on here. So and yeah, it's exactly what you said, Matt. He just gave up the bottom, and again, you leave. You can see the gap right here. You see the yellow line. You see where the 51 is, and you've got a full car width here, and then some. And so I think Dean is probably expecting Jim to kind of keep coming down there, and the problem is at that point now Jim's losing all the draft he has. So and then look at right there, you see Dean get a big push from the 17 and Jimmy Reynolds, and at that point there's nothing that can be done. I mean,
Oh,
the
that's
and it's just
yeah,
yeah, it's you're kind of between a rock and a hard place, and unfortunately, let's say that's just
yeah.
four wide on
Mm.
entry. Jim's trying to give Dean room on entry. He catches Eric Laurie. I say Eric does nothing wrong there too. He's just wrong place, wrong time. And then, yeah, unfortunately, you see these other cars involved there. Andrew Schroeder, looks like Jeremy Osborne. Gabe Butler took a shot as well, the 17. 76 in there, too. Actually, a big hit for Jack Walls. And then I'm watching it also. Look in the background. Look at Ryan Decker. He has pretty much dropped the anchor here. He pretty much stops. And then also you mentioned Bud Steele as well. He's going to jump to the apron because he can't touch anything to make sure he gets a wave around. And I think he definitely does that. And then I think same thing, Ryan Decker, he just cruises by up top. Both those guys get on through. And unfortunately, that is going to be, I think, night over for the 51, as I believe he was out of fast repairs. So tough break for him. Great break for Bud Steele. That jumps him back into the lead lap, which will leave us, it appears to be 15 cars now on the lead lap after that. Because I believe Eric Laurie, I think Eric had to take a tow back to pit road. And yeah, some lengthy stops going on for some of these guys, and also probably some fast repairs as well. So I think that's what we're seeing out of the 41 there and the 84. And I think Eric was out of fast repairs, if I'm not mistaken. But also see Zach Perry now rolling off, and trying to look at that right front. Oh man, Gabe Butler, that car was missing its right front. Watch for the fast repair here. All better. Yeah, but that 88 car was completely lost that right front wheel, so that was not what he was hoping for. But again, that's the benefit of the one fast repair. So, Matt, it is green white checker time now. We're 3 to go right now. It shows. However, of course, we're gonna get the 1 to go with 2 to go. We're not gonna restart on the white, so this will be green white checkered attempt number 1.
I have another question for you, Gael. Are you ready?
Fuel.
Yes. Do these guys have enough?
I'm going to say top 4, yes, because they all pitted at 67 under the previous caution. The question marks will be Dean Wilkinson, Jimmy Reynolds, Kevin Freeze, all pitting at 56. Those would be the ones I'm not sure if they can do all 3. I think for those that pitted under the previous yellow, you make sure you have enough to make it to the end. I don't suspect those guys have any fuel dramas. My only concern is that that's a very roughed up front bumper and nose for the 17 of Jimmy Reynolds. I don't know if he knows how bad it is, but if the opponents or the competition of him see it, they're going to say, hey, we should probably not follow him. He might be able to draft well, but he definitely will not be able to lead. So that's going to be a tough one for him. I'm kind of surprised he didn't do some damage repairs at least, even if he doesn't have a fast repair, but we'll see. But Matt, we're going to restart here. We're going to do green white checkered attempt number 1 here on Green White Checkered TV. And again, right now we have 15 drivers still on the lead lap. It looks like right now Gabe Butler has caught the back of the field in his 88 car. I don't think Jason's going to catch him, and honestly, that car's seen better days. That thing looks a little monster trucky on the front end, unfortunately for him. His teammate Zach Perry, he is back up in there as well, so he's good to go. So I think realistically, Matt, probably 14 cars vying for the win, including that lucky dog that just happened. That's 6 of Bud Steele. Although Bud's got a little bit of a left front crinkle there in his car too, so it's gonna be interesting here. All right, so we've got the 85 of Adam Kilday. Matt, can he go 2 in a row? He's got his teammate on his inside of Rick Sanchez. Can they get lined up? And then who will be the who's going to make the difference here? Will it be the front 2 row pushers? Will it be somebody further back working that third lane? I'd be watching for Ryan Decker to see if he can team up with Nick Wing potentially with Bud Steele. We're about to wait and see here. Actually, I can tell you, Jason Bogart, he caught the field. Well done to him. Green flag's out. 2 to go here at the line. Green white checker number 1. They got to get to that white flag, Matt, before it's an official race. Otherwise, they will rack him up 2 more times.
Well, the first thing you do if you're Jacob Lee, you wish you had a rear bumper that covers about 5 lanes.
Yeah, you want to be as wide as you can. It's a tough spot to be in because you want to block, but you also don't want to block. But at the same time, too, you've got a really good pusher behind you. And so as long as he's kind of pinned behind you, I kind of like where he is because that's probably the best shot he has right now, especially because of that right there. The outside line, sometimes they'll get separated just because, again, they don't know exactly when that guy in front's going to turn in. But I got to give it a props here, Jimmy Reynolds. That car is hanging on to the draft here, as hurt as it is. But here comes that third lane here. Oh, we got some movement going in the middle. White flags out. Contact these guys. Big wreck in the back. It is going to be a 4-horse race to line because these guys are big wrecks in the back. But again, white flags out, so they got to race back here. So right now, Jacob Lee's got the point. Rick Sanchez is the pusher. We'll see, can the 14 and the 85 mount a charge? But right now, momentum, I'm going to say, is back to the outside. Vince has the lead here going in the back.
I think that bottom line is going to prevail. Excuse me, right into turn number 3.
Can Vince clear?
But it looks like the 14 was clear for the moment, but he should have shut the door.
I think
he was clear.
So
but coming out of turn number 4, are we going to see a big drag race? Yes, we are. Look at the momentum. Look at Vince. He's tracking ever so slightly.
Vince is yep.
Vince got it.
Vicente Guerrero gets the win over Jacob Lee. Adam Kilday going to grab 3rd with the push there. Rick Sanchez in 4th. And we were skeptical about it, Matt, but Vince stayed committed to Adam there, and it paid off. Vince getting the win here tonight at iRacing Superspeedway.
So I thought he made a bad move there. Like he was clear of the 21 there. He didn't take it, but what do I know? You know?
Yeah, well, I say we were both in the same boat. It's like, no, that's not the right call, and it was spot on the right call. So, and then the battle for survival, Andrew Schroeder will wound up in the 5th spot. As you can see, some of these guys still just trying to make it to the finish here. I think that might be Bud Steele, if I'm not mistaken.
It is Bud Steele.
Yeah, he did not have a night he was hoping for. But we're going to stay on the 14, and we'll watch him celebrate on front stretch here as he's going to lock him down. And now he's going to do some burnouts here up front. I think he's done this a time or two. So I think this thing's going to go till that motor pops, it looks like, in that 14 car. All his gauges are probably flashing red. Matt, I feel like, unfortunately, we got to go look to see what happened coming to the white. I think it was just drivers getting a little bit antsy. So, unfortunately, we're going to cut away from Vince's burnouts there. Let's go back. Let's watch what happens here. I think I caught a glimpse of it, and I think it was probably the being aware of the 17 having the damage, trying to see if they could sneak around him, but we'll pick it up here. We'll cycle in behind him. And so you can see initially, I see the 28 there. He's kind of peaking middle, and probably, again, this is all speculation. I suspect that the 40 of Ryan Decker sees that as like, hey, okay, if he's going low, I got to try to go low too. And so we'll watch right here, and you see there's a 28. He's down low. So we'll watch the 48, and he clears. Yeah, so he does get there, but then right there you can see already making the contact. We'll try to get a different angle of that one. You can see, yeah, right there. Just going for a gap that they're all probably fighting for that same position. And then unfortunately that's going to hit Dean, and that's going to send then pretty much everybody just everywhere is the best way to describe that one. And you see Gabe's involved. There goes Nick Wing up and over, Ryan Decker around. Dean Wilkinson gets that piece as well. And yeah, pretty much not really anybody makes it through for. I think Zach Perry actually does. Oh my goodness, look at Jimmy Reynolds there. That car got launched up and over Dean Wilkins, or sorry, over Bud Steele. Huge hit for Jeremy Osborne. And you see in the background there Ryan Decker as well, pretty big shot. And yeah, just a tough one for a lot of those guys there. And then there was just that race to the finish for the leaders. So unfortunate for those guys getting caught up in it. Yeah, it's just, again, everybody's going for everything, and I think they probably saw that the 17 wasn't pulling up as well as they were hoping he would. However, we got to chat with some drivers. So we will start with this Adam Kilday fella, he's had a pretty good week, Matt. I'll say gets the win last week, gets a third here tonight. And Adam, you'll be glad that we weren't the leading driver up top with being Vicente, because both of us like, what is he doing? He didn't take the bottom when he cleared the 21. Like, he should have gone low. He stuck with you, and then you gave him the shot to go in this race. So, I mean, what do you do in that situation? Is it like, well, this is going to get me my best result, or like I want to make a move, or I mean, how do you approach that there at the end?
I don't really know. I mean, I guess like since we were only a 4-car pack and it was only 2 roads of racing, I think maybe Vince had felt if he went to the bottom, it would be like 3 cars linked up down there, and he would probably get shoved out way far ahead to where Sanchez or Lee would make a move on him. So I guess he chose to stay in front of me and keep it side by side, and I guess he put all his faith in me at the end to hope I would get back to him on turn 4 to give him a good shove down the front stretch, which I guess, yeah, it planned out in the end for him. So heck yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, obviously worked out really well. And I can tell you actually, right now, it's like you two are the ones going after it on the point side of things. Now tied for the lead because you finished first last week, third this week. Vince finished third last week, first this week. So you guys right on top of each other there on points. But yeah, I mean, there was obviously a lot going on over the course of this race. You started towards the back there, so actually all three of you in the top 3, plus 14, plus 15, and plus 15. So definitely one of those that doesn't matter where you start in these things, where you finish. Was there any strategy towards starting the back? Was it just like, let's see how the race shakes out, or what was the game plan there?
No, I had an error or something mess up in my iRacing files earlier on today, and I had to restore the PC, and everything
Oh wow.
got everything got reset to default. So I lost all my cockpit camera settings, keybinds, and all that, which I'm gonna have to sort out tonight before the tomorrow's league. But no, it's I just loaded in at the last second and was able to get the graphics to work right on the monitors. I was able to get my triples set back up okay, but I got Windows borders all around it, so that was bothering me quite a bit. Just staring at the big old Windows icon. Um, but yeah, it is what it is. Was pretty sure I wasn't going to make the grid in time because it was I was having issues with the right screen. Only the sim would display on the right screen, and so I was about to give up and just put it behind a wall. But I decided to quit the session and load back in and hope it would pop up on all 3. And it sure worked that way. So I got lucky on that part. And Yeah, it's just starting at the back was just a unfortunate deal for me. But it's at the end of the day, um, I had fun in the session. Glad I was able to stick it out with it, and tried not to cause too much carnage. In the beginning, it's just trying to get a feel for the car and all that. But yeah, it was a good night overall.
Yeah, really good results. Like I said, especially like you said, just kind of having to hop in it almost blind and like I said, not. And I was saying it's hard to explain to those that don't maybe do this as regular as we do, but when you have things dialed in and it's like this is how I like it, this is what works for me. It's almost like getting in somebody else's car that's a polar opposite to what you're used to. And I'm sure, like I said, I'm sure it was a big learning curve, but yeah, a great job. Like I said, I'm glad you were able to make it. Your competition maybe not as much, although Vince probably pretty happy that you showed up tonight. But no, I mean a great job though tonight, Adam. Like I said, first last week, third this week. Obviously, a great way to start the season. So before we let you go, definitely want to give you the floor here for any thanks and shouts for that podium tonight.
Yeah, well, shout out I guess all the boys at Area 51 for um putting on this race. The Gen 4 cars is a different touch to the Super Speedway league stuff, and I don't mind it. They're pretty dang fun. So shout out to that. Shout out to Green White Checkered, and um shout out to my boys I was probably going to run with, Andrew Schroeder and Rick Sanchez, but I didn't have the chance to connect with you all in Discord. So my bad on that, dudes. But yeah, and you too, Matt Wagner. I know you're going to say something.
Hello. No, I'm being quiet. And Vendetta,
And Vendetta Motorsports. Yeah, that's right.
you're welcome.
Yeah, so I was saying, yeah, even though we were able to join him in Discord, just say you guys got third, fourth, and fifth for the team. So yeah, good job there tonight for all three of you as well.
Awesome. Heck yeah, that's good to see, man. Right on.
All right, well, we'll let you get diagnosed and get all your stuff dialed back in. Sorry to deal with that. I say been there, done that. It's no fun, but great result though, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it, dude.
All right, Matt. That is our third place finisher there, Adam Kilday. We're gonna jump one spot back, and that is gonna be to our runner up here, Jacob Lee. And Jacob, it was close, man. I'll say I feel like pushers and everything. Like you've got Rick behind you. You're feeling good, obviously, and just not quite enough there. It was tight there, obviously at the finish. I mean, if you had your choice of inside outside lane, is this the track where you still want that second lane, or are you like to me? I feel like this is definitely a bottom line preferred track. But I mean, take us through the strategies and getting through all the chaos there at the end and having a chance to go for the win here tonight.
Yeah, man, it's bottom side for sure. I mean, that's I would have chose that all day long. I would have never chose any other way. And so, like you said, man, I had, I think I've pushed Rick to 2 wins, and I know he was trying to give me one back there. So I greatly appreciate Rick first and foremost, man. He did one heck of a job. He did everything he could. But yeah, I mean, it was a great track, man. I mean, oh my goodness, these cars are incredible here. I know we had a lot of trouble with the trucks in the past, but these cars here do a fantastic job. They handle very well. Going in the pits, the braking zone is perfect. So I mean, I'm super stoked about these cars. Like I said, I know this track has scared a lot of people in the past, but honestly, it's a fun track. I've always liked it anyways, but you just got to know how to handle it pretty much. But yeah, just trying to stay out all the wrecks I could, stay in the back most of the race. Didn't want to be out front yet. Was just kind of sizing things up, kind of see where we could go. And then, of course, there at the end, kind of worked out for us. Got a great pit stop, got out front there, and then that caution came out. And I knew whenever that wreck happened at the end, it was just the four of us. And so I was pumped, man. My heart was pounding 150,000 miles an hour. So it was a lot of fun for sure.
Nah, that was yeah, it was a lot of fun watching you guys, and you're right. It's like, and that's the thing too. Like I said, getting the pit stops in, all that. Um, and I want to say did you top off or did you pit, I should say, under the previous yellow, or did you pretty much once you hit your scheduled stop, did you not come in after that? I'm trying to remember when you last pitted.
Yeah, so that one big wreck, I actually got involved in it. So I had to come in. So I used my fast repair, of course, because I had my toe link was damaged. And then topped off of fuel there. So I was good to go. And then when the other caution came out, I just kept saving fuel just to be sure. Because if another caution came out, I could have just stayed out. I'd been fine. So yeah, we were good on fuel. Had no problems. I was saving enough for hopefully I was gonna burn them down and burn my tires off for a victory there. But we were so close, and I hate it for our team. They worked hard, but man, it was right there. It was right there.
Well, I mean, that's what we always say too, is like just you keep putting yourself in that position, and one of those times you'll get that right push at the right time. And like I said, it was close tonight, and I would have done the exact same thing. Stay on the bottom. You got Rick behind you. I'd be feeling pretty confident as well. So, yeah, it was a hell of a job though, still, Jacob, to get the runner up, and definitely want to give you the floor for any thanks and shouts for it.
Yeah, man. I just want to appreciate you guys for what y'all do. I mean, Green White Checker TV, is one of the best broadcasts out there, and you guys always do a fantastic job. So thank you for that. And huge shout out to Area 51, great league. So if anybody's looking out there, please come join us. We'd love to have you out here. I know we open you with open arms. The field was a little short tonight, so I'd love to see it fuller than it was last week for sure. So shout out to Whip Lash Sim Cams there. Some really cool cams that are happening out there. And then I'm looking for sponsorship. So if anybody's out there looking, let me know. But the one sponsor I do have on board with me is WB Creative Design. So y'all make sure to check him out on Facebook. He has the best paint jobs I've seen, and he does an incredible job for a really, really good price. And actually, if you put in my code, which is Lee20, LEE20, you'll get 20% off of your order with him. So huge shout out to Wade over there at WB Creative Designs. Love them. They've always treated me well through my whole entire career with racing here, and so I'm just excited to have them on board. I know my car does not resemble what it should be, but that's because it's in the works of getting painted. So hopefully it'll be ready to go next week. So appreciate you guys. I see the National Kidney Foundation on board too, so that's cool to see that. So yeah, man, and much prayers to all the hurricane victims out there, and prayers to those that are in the line of the next one. I know it's coming hard, and so I appreciate everybody that what y'all are doing, and appreciate all the support. I know our disaster relief from our church headed out to North Carolina. They're there now, helping as much as they can. So just appreciate each and every one of you that are helping, and love it.
Yeah, nah, spot on, man. So yeah, there's a lot happening out there, and yeah, I hate that there's more coming. So, yeah, hopefully people can kind of get prepped as best they can while still recovering. So, yeah, and yeah, look forward to seeing the updated paint scheme. I'll definitely have to check out your painter there as well. So it's always fun seeing the stuff that comes out. You guys really have great stuff, man. So, yeah, great job tonight, Jacob, and look forward to seeing you on Trek again here soon, sir.
Yep, appreciate y'all. Thanks, Matt. I know you're hiding there, but appreciate you, buddy.
Oh, I'm here. I'm just chilling, man. It's your time to shine, man.
You're good. Y'all have a good night. Appreciate
All
y'all.
right, man.
You too, man. All right, Matt. That leaves us one left to chat with, and we'll go back because he's already burning them down here. I don't know how long until he pops the motor, so we'll go back to get a little TV time for that. Number 14, Vince Service and Repair Machine. Vince, you're doing pretty well at this whole not having a teammate thing. Say third last week, first tonight. Let's say tied now with Adam Kilday for that points lead, with him getting first last week, third tonight. But you proved that you know way more about this stuff than both Matt and I, because we were both just like, what is he doing? He gave up the bottom lane when he was clear coming in 3. You stayed up top with Adam, and I mean, it paid off perfectly. But I mean, did you have any doubts when you stayed up top, or was it like this is the move to win the race?
Yeah, I was gonna stay there in the second lane. I was just hoping Adam would be staying committed with me, and he did. He did at the end. Happy with that. But
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean the second lane there for me was the dominant lane to be in. So, and I could see what's going on the outside lane and the inside lane. So that second lane really, um, feels good here. Just knowing that you can see both lanes, your right and your left side. Um, the runs coming off the exit was really fun there.
Yeah, saying obviously, I'm sure coming to the white there, you look in your mirror and you see pretty much everybody disappear there. I mean, does that at that point then does that also change? Maybe like, okay, I can do this instead, or is it just like, okay, I have less lanes to watch there at the end?
So when everybody else just got wrecked out, and it was just a 4-car race here at the end. Sanchez was pretty much committed to the bottom lane there, and Adam was behind me, so he was pretty much committed too. But he had a chance if he wanted to jump out, but I don't think it would have benefited him or I. It would just parachute both of us. That's why I try to stay tight as I can, with the bottom lane there, uh, just to make sure I could get some sort of speed there if they want to jump out to the back, on the outside there with Adam. Maybe I'll just finish third or second, hopefully. But he stuck with me, and I'm happy with that.
Yes, it helps getting those wins. And I think the last thing Matt and I were curious about, I can't remember if you were involved in one of them at some point tonight, but there was a couple times where we would see either the bottom lane kind of maybe give a lane and a half to the yellow line, or we'd see the second lane again save like give maybe a car width to where you could go. Did you have any situations where maybe there was an opening where it's like, oh man, I could take that or fill that gap because there's just so much room, or because that was something that really surprised Matt and I, was just how much room was being given from time to time and stuff. I mean, what did you see, and was that something that surprised you as well?
Well, here you kind of get it, drift up a little bit before entry, so you could get the entry right. Sorry for my
Oh no,
dog.
you're
barking.
good.
Somebody's walking through the door, but
You're good, Norris.
it's just the entry. You get a better entry. You can see the turn entry, but it is very tempting for somebody trying to gain a position or something like that. I think late in that run here tonight, Jim got, he was thinking, okay, he's gonna come up and side draft a little bit with the second lane, and drop down, because when he took the lead there, and they left him in that, they split him, and I think that's what brought out the caution before the last there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he got put. Yeah, so yeah, and I don't even think it was planned. I think it was just, so I was watching, and yeah, it looked like that Dean got a really big shot from behind, and then at that point, Dean's like, well, I either hit him off centered or I get wrecked, and so it's like I just got to take the hit and go low, and so. And unfortunately, I'll say that I think it turned into I want to say maybe 4 wide, and there's a couple instances where we saw that where an opening was there and it was taken, and just it kind of got caught too late, if you will. But I mean, that's this track, like you said, it's that entry into 1 and into 3. If you miss it, if you catch the apron, I mean, it's the same thing's gonna happen.
Yeah, so when I seen Jim, I was clear Jim. I did not know that he was, the second lane. I thought he was still on the, bottom lane. And so that's why I jumped down. I think Lori followed, and he got Jim. So uh, that was unfortunate there. I was hoping he had a good run there, and hoping he had a good finish, but I don't know where he finished tonight. But yeah.
I mean, it's unfortunate with plate racing. I'll say there's good days and bad days. I'm saying, one of the things, you got to put yourself in position, but you also have to have the luck to kind of be at the right spot at the right time. And so you did all of it tonight. You said you made the right moves at the right time. We were joking that there were some points where like, wait, why is Vince in the back? What's going on? And then literally within like 2 laps, you started charging to the front. So
the car was amazing. I mean, it was fun to do that. Honestly, that's why I did it. But I just wanted to see how long it would take me to go from the back to the front.
That's
front,
why. Okay.
We had some theories.
Yeah.
Because when, like, late in that run, like, I was up front, and there was like 14, 13 laps, or I don't know, I forget. It was getting short. I said, you know what? I'm going to cycle to the back because I know it's only going to take me a few laps. Hopefully, I cycle to the front towards the end of that race. So that was my strategy. But there was a wreck, and I got caught up in it, so I had to pit anyways. But there was still enough time there to make up that time, and that's when I got in front of Jim, and that one wreck before the end there happened, and I was got lucky, and I made it through it, and was up front at the end of that race.
Yeah, so we actually we're halfway right there, man. So we still have our moments of knowing what's going on.
Yeah, well, at least help me out.
Yeah, no. Well, Vince Bosé, before we let you go, as always, definitely want to give you the floor for any thanks and shouts for that win. And say there we go. So I got to get a better shot of your car there doing the celebratory burnouts there on the front stretch. But Yeah, man, floor is yours for anything. Shouts for that win tonight.
So I want to thank you guys for broadcasting. Can't wait to watch this one back at Green White Checkers. I want to thank all the admins here that do what they do, and all the drivers that participate here. I want to thank Team Nightmare. I got Nightmare on my paint scheme here, and I race with my buddies. Most of the nights tonight, I'm just running solo. I want to also thank my family, my mom, my dad watching. Hopefully, they're in Arizona. And, that's it.
I'll say if you see them, tell them I hope that their heat gets better than it is for me too. Because yeah, I'm down here as well in Arizona, and I'd like it to get back to double digits. I'm kind of tired of this 3-digit stuff.
I can't believe you guys are still getting triple. Us too over here. Good lord.
It
Here
ain't
in the
right.
West Coast, it's not right in October. Come on, man.
We shouldn't be running AC still, but
No,
no,
I work outside.
yeah, no, yes, and yeah, we'll do. And so yeah, stay tuned. We'll be having a Vince service and repair broadcasted race as well. Really appreciate the generous donation to make that happen, man. And you'll be able to
Bro,
definitely
my
give some
pleasure.
extra love and attention to your business, so we can get you hopefully some more views and eyeballs over there. So go enjoy this one, Vince. We don't want to keep you too long, but congrats on the win, and look forward to seeing you on track again here soon, sir.
Thank you, guys.
All right, Matt. So that is our race winner. What we have not done yet is we got to pull up our final results for the race, as it will be, as we already mentioned, Vicente Guerrero getting the win by 300ths over Jacob Lee. Then you've got Adam Kilday, Rick Sanchez there, third and fourth. Those were the ones that were able to get through the carnage there at the end. And then these guys did make it through, not unscathed, but still made it through fairly well. Andrew Schroeder there in fifth, Zach Perry sixth, Kevin Fries in seventh, and then I think these guys further back were just kind of who could get rolling fastest and go, which will be Nick Wing in eighth, Gabe Butler, Dean Wilkinson, our top 10 drivers. And then you got Jason Bogart, Jimmy Reynolds, Ryan Decker, and Jeremy Osborne. We saw Bud Steele at one point on the replays just made it there, dragging the right front tire destroyed, but still got to the end there on the lead lap. Unfortunately, you see the early retirements for Jim Brooks and Eric Laurie with their late incidents. And then Jack Wall is just not the night he was hoping for tonight. Just couldn't recover from that damage after the first wreck. So it was a tough night for him, finishing in the 18th spot. So, Matt, that's going to do it for us this evening. We'll be back here at this track on Thursday night with the Xfinity cars. It'll be very interesting to see how those cars handle the new draft model with those. I'm looking forward to see what those have in store, and I believe that's going to bring us back to the old Boomer Logan in the booth, so definitely looking forward to seeing him call the shots next week as well. But before we go, Matt, as always, again, see the logo on the bottom right, that National Kidney Foundation. Again, we're trying if we can find something to help out our Ryan and Caitlin Decker for their son. I'll say, again, you can check out the website, and it will have also on the outro here, you'll see some info for it as well. So, Ryan, Caitlin, love you guys. I hope we can find someone that'll get some more attention to get something going for you guys as soon as possible. So, love you all. Thank you all so much for watching, for supporting us here at Green White Checker TV. Matt, as always, appreciate all your time and effort and dedication to the league, to the broadcast, to everything. I say you are a man of many talents. So thank you so much, man.
Thank you very much. Actually, you know what? There's no thanks needed.
Well,
it's voluntary work, man.
You
voluntary
get it anyway.
But no, you're good.
Everybody watching and supporting us here at Green White Checker TV, thank you all so much for being a part of this. It means a ton. Love seeing you chat and root on your favorite drivers and family. It's so much fun. So as always, take care, stay safe, have a wonderful night, and we'll see you on Thursday.